thank you for those who are about to join us or watching the recording. This is a really cool new marketing strategy that I had never heard of before until a few weeks ago when I reconnected with Austin. And I knew that the whole real estate industry needed to know about this because it just kind of reframes not only your model, but your mind around marketing. Austin at Dippity is going to be joining this call. We're going to be kind of teaching together. Austin, so happy to have you here. We're going to be talking about the Flywheel Method is what it's called, and using your CRM to nurture and convert more leads. So Austin, at a high level, what is the Flywheel Method?
Yeah. So first off, thanks so much for having me on here today. I'm very, very excited to kind of go through this flywheel. I think you prefaced it pretty well. It's going to reshape the way you think about marketing, branding, and advertising as a whole, because this really is a solid foundation for you when it comes to building out multiple campaigns and the way you should think about your real estate business. It's pretty simple the way it looks. You just see a circle right here for attract, engage, and delight. Basically, this is, almost take the old sales funnel mindset of you got a funnel up here at the top to get awareness, and you try to bring a bunch of people into the top of that funnel, work it down into the consideration phase, and then the convert phase in the bottom of that funnel. But what happens is once somebody converts and goes out, it's not necessarily centered around the customer. It's centered around acquisition, but it's not centered around retaining and referral and continuous nurture with your brand. This flywheel, as you notice, it is a wheel, so it is round. It continues to spin. It continues to go around. So it's actually all centered around the customer. And the goal is to attract strangers into leads, gauge those leads into prospects, and then delight those prospects to become customers. And with great service, becomes a happy customer. So it turns into a promoter, and those promoters become this army that also help you attract more strangers into leads and continue that flywheel flowing. So it's a way to not only attract new, but also nurture, retain, and create a sales force of happy customers. Now, within the flywheel, there's many different components of ways to attract. So we'll go through a couple today. Everything we're going to talk about is more on the digital realm of how you can build out digital marketing campaigns on Facebook, Instagram, and Google. But you could use YouTube for another digital channel to attract. You could use door knocking. Door knocking attracts strangers into leads. Billboards, radio, TV, really any kind of form of marketing where you're just outreaching into a large pool of people that you're trying to attract in is the attract phase. But what happens next is the engage and delight. And I think that's where a lot of people, as we go through this, you'll see may not do these campaigns or these style of campaigns in their advertising strategy right now. That's going to help them to get back in front of people who are interested, as well as warm up their databases even further, which I'm excited to deep dive in with what you do, Elena, for our customers that we work jointly with, which is responding via text and email in these action plans. We actually have another campaign that does a way to re-engage the database, but completely on social. So we'll go through that here, but hopefully that gives a good overview of the flywheel here.
That's awesome. Thanks for that high level overview. And like Austin said, we're going to dive deeper. I did just realize there are people here live with us. They're just quiet. So I just put in the chat. If you can't find it, it's on the far right side of Riverside. There's a chat for the live stream. That's where we are. So feel free. I posted in there. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat while we're here. And let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay. I can scroll. I didn't know how to do this without the pages showing. We'll scroll. So phase one of the flywheel is attract. And Austin, can you share what is being shown here? There's a lot of different ideas here. So can you break it down?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, on the attract side, again, you could do many different things. The goal to complete a flywheel is step one, attract strangers into leads. What is a lead? A lead is somebody that has given you their information in exchange for something, some sort of value. It could be a home value campaign where they're filling out their address, name, email, and phone number to get some sort of instant cash value to see, or instant offer to see what would their home be worth today. It could be a route where you do an ebook and you create this nice PDF ebook for a seller's guide, again collecting name, email, phone number, and then in exchange give them the PDF guide. What you see on the screen here today is a few different verticals that we do for our clients at Dippity. One is on the left side, you'll see a few different Facebook and Instagram ads here. This is for a client Seltzer Real Estate out of the Panama City area. They wanted to focus on attracting people who are looking for homes for sale. So they have an IDX website that we were able to use that IDX and leverage and create a dynamic home list. Basically, when somebody goes to that page and that landing page is that same search. So, for instance, you'll see here homes for sale near Tyndale Air Force Base. That is a popular Air Force base in that area and in that market that a lot of people come to get stationed at and want to buy houses around the area. So we made an ad solely focused on that. When somebody clicks that ad, it comes up with a form in which they fill out their information. They get the name, email, phone number. That lead goes right into Follow Up Boss for Elena and Kee Technologies to do their thing. And that list that they go to is constantly updated. So as long as it's near Tyndale Air Force Base, around the IDX search we made, if it gets sold and comes off, it's off the list. If it's a new active, it goes back on. If it's pending, it shows pending. So these are dynamic lists that you can run ongoing and consistently attract strangers into leads doing it. And you can generate a targeted audience narrowed by interest on Facebook and Instagram. So for instance, this middle one that you'll see is newest listings in Panama City Beach. You make a pretty graphic design, your branding on it, and when somebody fills that out, they see homes in Panama City Beach. You can actually target around Panama City Beach and then narrow that by interest like Zillow, Realtor.com, things like that that would indicate this person is in Panama City Beach and is also potentially looking on Zillow right now. So that's who it's pushing the ads to. Then you'll see over here on the right-hand side of the screen, Google. Google is another fantastic way to generate strangers into leads because you can use the power of investing in people's thoughts in the research phase of their home buying journey and push your ads in front of them. So you'll see here in this screenshot, pools near Tyndale, live close to Tyndale. In that screenshot, this is us bidding on keywords of people maybe looking for homes for sale near Tyndale Air Force Base. What's great is the cost per lead on both Google and Facebook are fairly affordable compared to other platforms out there. You'll see here, we got some results below. On Google, getting right there at a $14 lead. On the Facebook side, for each of these, you're seeing anywhere from a $9 lead to $871, $923. So this is a fantastic way to attract strangers into leads, get them in the CRM and start nurturing them to qualify them further and find out which of these leads that gave their information are a potential opportunity for a prospect.
Yeah. So a question for you with the Facebook ads, we all know like Facebook, you can't target age or income like you can in Google. The restrictions haven't been made there yet. But on Facebook, you mentioned like targeting specific interests. So how do you know which interests to target? Because like you said, like Zillow is a big one, but that can also include other, like it can include agents. Like how do you know which ones to target? Because there are thousands in the list.
Yep. So Facebook's not going to be as high intent as higher intentional than Google. So you are going to get a vast amount of people that might just be looky-loos. There might be people that are maybe potentially looking in the further future, because you got to remember Facebook and Instagram and social media in general is more of a disruptive style of marketing. Google, they're searching for houses for sale. On Facebook and Instagram, they're scrolling, looking at things of their friends, watching videos, and then your ads stop their scroll, compelled them to fill out a form and then go see these houses. So it wasn't like they were researching. This might be the initial thing that sparks the interest of buying a home. So in terms of targeting, it is a little bit more broad. It is going to be a little bit colder on Facebook and Instagram. But the best part about it is when you build a flywheel, it's not about getting the hottest lead that when they enter your database. It's about building the database when you're attracting strangers into leads. Remember, they're a stranger, so they need to start building trust with you before they want to work with you. Everybody likes to do work with people they like, know, and trust. This is your initial introduction to a complete stranger with your brand. In terms of targeting and deciding on the interest, you can get creative in a sense, but for the most part, like let's say that you're like, I really want to get in front of a potential seller that may also be wanting to buy a home. Well, then when you create that geo-targeted list, you might go, all right, I'm going to do Panama City Beach as the 15-mile radius. I'm going to do an interest of something that would indicate they're more of a home owner or a home seller. So you could do, there's a ton of them out there, but like maybe they got refinancing. So you choose refinance. So somebody that's interested in refinancing, that's been engaging with refinancing content or home renovations, all right, if they're looking at refinancing a home or home renovations, they own a home. Now let's narrow that list. So you can almost create like a tiered system and say also Zillow. So that would then indicate this is somebody that more than likely, not 100%, owns a home and has been looking at, houses on Zillow, because there's really nothing else to do on Zillow outside of that, right? So that would give you the opportunity now to generate leads of people who have a home that they own that might potentially sell it if they're looking for other houses. So it can try to help get a double deal out of it. That would be the Facebook and Instagram side, and like trying to think about how you would go on the interest selection.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, the flywheel is what really is interesting to me. I want to be selfish and ask more questions, but I don't want to take up the whole time on this. So I'm going to move on. If we have time, I'll ask my other questions.
Absolutely.
So whenever these people come in through step one of the flywheel, you want to make sure that the way that you run your ads, that they can connect to your CRM. So thankfully, the CRM that we use, Follow Boss, has a direct integration with Facebook. So if you're running these as like Facebook lead ads, you don't have to do any coding or any Zapier for that. You just go to like help.followboss.com, search Facebook lead ads. And it's like 2 steps. Or if you're sending them to a landing page, then you would make sure that integrates with Follow Boss in some way. So here's a screenshot of that same client. So we're not just making this up. This is a mutual client we worked with who has worked with Dippity to set up those ads. You saw the Panama City. It's kind of small here on the screen, but you saw like Panama City, Tyndale. You can create rules to say, okay, if a lead comes in requesting lists of homes, like that's what, let me see if I can you see my pointer here?
Yep. I got it.
Okay. So this is like list of homes. So we've got like a list of homes campaign where we're being a bit more specific instead of just a generic campaign. And then these are some others that you like. This is another example of houses for sale in. And then I think one is like a Facebook campaign, one's the Google PPC, and we just created rules depending on the type of campaign. So let's go back here and then, okay. And then step 2 is for the new leads that come in, like the campaigns I mentioned. Here's just a couple examples that you can screen grab. So this is like the list of homes. So this is what our initial email, and we have a similar text that will go out to. Just saying in the subject line, would this be helpful? And then the body of the email says, I received a request regarding homes for sale. Would it help if I sent more details about these homes? So we're not just flat out asking like, do you want to buy a home, or why are you interested in this community? We want to come across as a bit more helpful. But if it was a specific property inquiry, then we would do something more like along these lines where we point out that home. We used to use like a merge field to put in the home address, but sometimes it's a hit or miss. So we decided, you know what, we're not going to take the risk and just have like a blank there. Like we don't want to say, I just received your request regarding, and then what is prompting your interest. Right. So we just decided to do that. But depending on the lead providers you use and the way the leads are coming in, you could use the merge field as well. You just want to test it before you start sending those emails out. This is like an overview. So you don't want to just stop after one email or one text. Our campaign runs for 2 years over email. And I think it's like 1.5 or 1 to 1.5 year for text, because we'll get leads that will respond like 6 months in. So something, Austin, you mentioned is the attract phase is just phase 1. They're a stranger. They might continue on the flywheel. I don't want to spoil it. So I'll just say they might continue in the flywheel. They may have never triggered anything else in your CRM, but when they do start to connect the two, that name recognition through the flywheel strategy, they will respond. We've seen people respond 3 months later, 6 months later, even 2 years later. Or we've even seen people like they go all the way through the end of this. And what we do at the end is we tag them as unresponsive, and then we initiate another campaign. And believe it or not, we get like an average of 70% response rate, which is amazing. So you might think, well, this is a waste of time, but we've gone like 3 years and it's on year 3 that someone responds.
Wow. So you're saying the 70% there, can you speak to that a little bit deeper? So basically they go, the ones that have gone all the way through for 2 years, go get marked as unresponsive. That then goes to another nurture campaign And that's getting a 70% response rate.
17.
17. That's pretty amazing. I was about to say 70. I'm like, dang, it takes 3 years for them to get 70%. 17
No.
still great.
Yeah, and it's a bit more direct than this one, but yeah. It's another campaign that runs for a year. We're still talking about part one of the flywheel, but in your CRM, you just want to ensure like you don't only have the campaigns running and make sure the right campaign's going for the right ad. But you also want to be calling the leads. You don't want to rely on solely the marketing of the ad you're running and solely the campaign. A big component of this is you, the calling. So although what Austin's going to be sharing is going to make your lives a lot easier, it's not going to replace you. Like you still have to put in the work. There's never going to be like a magical thing where you don't have to put in work. But this is just a screenshot from our account that we put our new leads, brand new leads with no call attempt made, but they gave a good number here and they remain on this list until they've been called. So that's a very important factor there. I think both Austin and I had a few conversations about that, where there's a misconception that there's going to be something magical happening, which there is, but not magical enough to where you don't have to call and talk to people.
Yeah, this is the pixie dust, but you still got to be the magician, right? So it isn't gonna necessarily do it. If it did, me and you, our backgrounds would look a lot different, right? We'd be somewhere else. It'd look tropical behind us, and
We probably wouldn't be doing this. No,
yeah.
I like that. This pixie dust. All right. So what is step 2 of the flywheel?
Yeah. So step 2, you attracted a stranger into a lead. They came into your CRM. You already have Kee Technology's plans, or you built out your own plans that are now following up via text and email to try to qualify that lead and get engagement. But simultaneously, you should still have other ads out there running for you to try to play your ISA for you. And so essentially what that is your engage phase of the flywheel, where they're kind of middle of funnel campaigns. You've now attracted people who have visited your website, or maybe they're already in your database, or maybe you do a lot of organic social media where you're posting day to day, you're making real content, short form content, and people are liking, viewing, commenting, sharing all your content. What we do here is we build a kind of a mass retargeting audience in the middle. So everybody that's engaged with your brand in some capacity online is now a part of this audience. This is people who have visited your website, in your database, or engaged with you on your social media pages, Facebook and Instagram. What goes to them at this phase? Well, this was a stranger that is now a lead. So now we need to get that lead to become a prospect. Just because they enter your database as a lead doesn't mean that they've connected with you. They haven't responded to you. They haven't had a conversation with you yet. Some of these people in this audience might have, but a majority probably haven't. So what we try to do now is create an actual ad around your offer. So what is it that you actually do? If you remember, the attract was kind of like giving a mouse a cookie in a sense, and you're asking for their information in exchange for that cookie, that PDF guide, the list of homes, the home value. You're not actually giving them what you do, your actual service, what you can do for them to fix any of their pain points they may be having, which initially is why they ask for the cookie in the first place. So what happens here is you're going to give them an offer, and that offer is going to be what you actually do. So this, in this example here, is your home sold in 29 days or we pay the difference. Well, they've created a unique offer standpoint on this landing page. So you want to create a landing page to couple the ad itself that goes over the offer and what it all is included. If you read the fine print here, it is a little bit in detail. Basically, you are getting a free strategy design. You're getting high definition photos, landscaping, like it's going over the offer itself. So at that point, what happens on this funnel is to book a free strategy call. So if you scroll down, you'll see this is the funnel itself. Book a free strategy call is the call to action button throughout this. So it's not to get a lead, it's actually to get somebody to book an appointment with you. And so when you build these ads, they're not optimized for new lead generation. It's actually optimized for appointment generation. So instead of saying, hey, what was my cost per lead at, $12, $9, etc. on Facebook, this is what's my cost per appointment booked. So think about how much does it actually cost if you have an ISA on staff or your agents themselves. If you generate leads and then you go look at all your data and you go, all right, what is the actual cost per appointment? The amount of time that goes in, the amount of dials made, like what's the cost per appointment? this ad will actually do that for you. So while you're making dials, while those nurture campaigns are out there with text and emails, this ad is actually trying to just hit the home run out the gates and get an appointment booked directly from the ad itself. Cost per appointment, I have seen fluctuate from $200 to $500. It's not like it's going to be this mass appointment generating machine, but what it does is it gives you the opportunity to have your brand out there, your offer out there, because everybody that the cost per appointment generated might be $200, but how many impressions were you getting? How many clicks were going to the landing page? All of that, you can keep pushing other ads and other content back in front of for future campaigns as well. So this is a good example of how you can use an irresistible offer in the engage phase to try to turn that lead into a prospect.
Cool. I have two questions for you. The first one is, how do you make sure that you're actually targeting people in part 2 of the funnel and you're not wasting dollars on the strangers that have no idea who you are?
Yeah, so that's going to be those retargeting audiences. So the audiences that are built here in the engage campaigns are people who have visited your website. So you have a Facebook pixel you can create when you build an ad account. You'll install that Facebook pixel on your website. So even if somebody didn't engage with the attract ad, let's say that because you have that pixel on your website, let's say you meet somebody at a Chili's, all right, and you hand them your business card because you're sitting there getting a 2-for-1 margarita, and you're like, you know what? We've been talking real estate here. Here's my card. You give them your card. They go to your website later that night. They leave your website, and then tomorrow they go on Facebook and Instagram because, let's face it, at some point in the day, everybody's going to Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook or Instagram. Me, I am victim to both. But now your ads, you'll be a part of an audience, that person will, that your now offer ad will be in front of them. So even though they didn't see your attract ad, they're a part of your website retargeting audience, and they can now see these ads. If they're already in your database, that's another part of the audiences we build. So you already have this database of Zillow leads. Maybe you generate leads from another source, realtor.com, whatever it may be, is already in your database. You can export your database as a CSV file, create it as a custom audience, and actually target the database on Facebook and Instagram. This is a great piece of content to push in front of them to keep your brand in front of them as well. Your past clients in Sphere may be a part of that database. That is okay, because this ad is just keeping your brand in front of your past clients in Sphere, even if they don't engage with it. So ultimately, you're just staying in their newsfeed. And when they are ready is one thing, they'll do repeat business with you. But ultimately, that's not even what matters the most. Remember, happy customers are promoters. So now that your brand's staying top of mind, they go to a cookout to go watch some football at a friend's house, and their friend's talking about selling. They go, hey, I know the perfect person, because your brand has been back in front of them. So how do we build the audiences? They're all custom audiences that are created on Facebook and Instagram's audience manager for website visitors, database, and social media engagement, likes, comments, shares, views, etc. If they engage with you, they're now a part of this audience, because we want to learn which of these strangers are potential prospects.
Got it. Okay. Second question is, do you at Dippity implement this for yourself? Do you use the flywheel method?
100%. Yeah. Yep. So right now, if you were to go look at our flywheel, we have a masterclass that we're using to attract. So we recorded actually a pre-recorded webinar, which is something that even agents should and can do. Through Dippity, you can get a go high level sub account and build funnels. So what I highly recommend you do is build a funnel out that's this on-demand webinar. I'm going to share my screen. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out now. We'll share the screen. I do this for a client, but what we do, because I'm going off the path, we do a masterclass, and then we have our offer. So it's what we do at Dippity in the middle, and then the bottom of the delight we'll go over here shortly, but we implement this all the way across for ourselves as well.
Yeah. I loved our last conversation. You worked with a client and you showed me you worked with them to record a fake, webinar. You interviewed her, and that's her attract. And I thought that was really creative and different.
We're going to show that one off, because I think that that's something that is very unique that you can do that not many agents in your market are doing right now. Is two different kinds of funnels: quiz funnels, which I don't have an example to show in the moment, and the other one is the webinar funnels, but they're on-demand webinars. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to go into infinity for a moment. Here we go. So this is an on-demand webinar. This is the landing page. Actually, the ad looks extremely similar to this image you see here. This is a client of ours, Julie Essig. She's amazing, super fun, awesome person. And she has this big passion actually for first-time home buyers. So she likes to help people go from renters to first-time home buyers. So she wanted to do a masterclass to educate people how they can do it specifically in Idaho. So what we did and what you can do for yourself is build out a funnel. This is all built in Go High Level. This is her brand colors, fonts, logo, etc. And you're kind of going over like the step-by-step framework on how to take the guesswork out of home buying. What's included? What are you going to learn in this masterclass? Who's it for? Millennial and first-time home buyers, renters who want to buy. So you can really make this compelling offer to download and watch the masterclass on demand. Like most webinars, we sign up for them. I'm sure what we said, we had 40 that signed up for this, and we have 8 in here today, right? So like most webinars, I'm a victim of it. I register and then I don't show up because I'm like, dang, that was next Thursday at 8, and realistically, I'm cranking right now, so I can't get on that webinar. But this is great because when they see this ad and they go to this landing page, they more than likely in this moment have the time now. So what happens is they fill out their name, email, phone number. They get redirected immediately to watch the masterclass. So they're getting the value immediately. It's all about time to value. So if I have to go register for a webinar and wait a week, time to value is pretty slow. I got to wait 7 days just to get the value. In this scenario, you can get it immediately, and they can watch you for 30 minutes. If that lead, and forget a property list, if this somebody that wants to learn a masterclass about home buying fills out their info and watches you for 30 minutes, what agent in their market do you think they trust right now? It's you. So what's great is you could generate that lead, go into Follow Up Boss, and then create a sequence and nurture to follow up with these leads. What happens on this page is below it, it gives the opportunity for them to book an appointment as well. So in the funnel, it's an attract, but it's trying to actually also engage them if this was able to build enough trust.
Yeah, I certainly sign up for webinars all the time. Webinars or master classes that are pre-recorded on demand. Like, I'm just a victim to it as a business owner. Like, oh, you want to scale your business? Click on this and learn the top 10 secrets or whatever. And so I'm immediately added to their funnel, email funnel, and their social media remarketing. What's funny is the most relentless company I've ever seen to date with remarketing is like a fake flower company. I think like Contemporary or something. They kept remarketing me over and over, but they were so expensive. And so they were remarketed to me for like 6 months. So I finally said, okay, fine. I haven't been able to find anything else. This is pretty. I'm going to buy it. And as soon as I bought it, they were gone. It was like, oh, thanks. Free money. Like,
yep. Yeah. You almost had to buy it to get out of the funnel, huh?
But now I have 2. I bought one and then I actually bought another one last month. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, so that's a fun funnel to attract. That, like, for instance, that's getting like around anywhere from $10 to $15 per lead. It fluctuates month to month, but that's a fantastic lead to generate. They're now watching you. So talk about building a personal brand all at the same time. That's how you can do it right there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when all of these re-engagement happens, even if they don't book an appointment, but they click because they liked your offer, you want to make sure that you have a website like Go High Level with the help of Dippity, or your own website if you're making this yourself that is able to be tracked by Follow Boss's Pixel, which 99% are. All of those activities then trickle down into your CRM. So specifically, we create a recent online activity list. So this includes like anyone registering for anything like the masterclass, or anyone just clicking to look at it if they've been in your CRM already and they come back. It also just includes any activity outside of this, like if you have other lead sources and someone was already in your CRM and registers on that other one because people shop, or if people came back through, I had another DM of mine and I just lost it. Oh, like other lead sources, like if you do like a pay at closing, then they come through that way, or maybe you generated from someone from Zillow 6 months ago, they come back. All of that activity gets tracked here. So what's the goal? Like if you get someone interested in phase 2 of the flywheel, but they didn't book an appointment, but they expressed interest and they show up in that recent online activity, you want to call and set the appointment. Or if they already set one, you want to increase your likelihood of someone showing up and not bailing on you or canceling last minute. So you want to have some sort of procedure in place for confirming the appointments automatically. So if you call, you don't set the appointment, this is the screen share I'm showing here. The scenario is you call, they're potentially interested, but they're just not ready to set the appointment right now. We would change the stage to warm. I did a big no-no that I tell other people not to do. I'm sure the source automatically shows up when you work with Dippity, but I left it as unspecified. That's a big don't do that. It should be Facebook or your masterclass or whatever you want to call the source. They're tagged as a buyer, and then we initiate the nurture buyer campaign. Austin, a question for you. Whenever someone books an appointment, do you have like an automated, like, here's your confirmation type campaign that goes out?
It does, yeah. Usually that'll go through Go High Level, where it just basically, because that calendar widget's built out of Go High Level, that connects with either your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. So it's live time your availability. If somebody fills it out, it has a reminder campaign just to try to get people to confirm the appointment.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we use Calendly. It does the same thing. You can set up like reminders before, but take it a step further. A call, whether it's you or an assistant on your team. That's what we do here in house. We have our admin call the day before or like the Friday before to confirm appointments. If they don't answer, she texts. Like, we're relentless. We want to make sure, even though they booked the appointment like 2 days ago, even she still calls them the day before or even the morning of to get their confirmation to decrease the no-show rate. Like, I think before we started doing that, just a simple call, we just had the automated workflow. Our no-show rate was like 36% or something. And then once we just had the simplicity add-in of calling and texting, it went down to like 10% or 9% or something. Definitely.
I've even found when you call, like if somebody books a week out, and like I get through my workflow of the day and I can start calling future appointments. And if you call them, sometimes you can even like not even have that appointment next week. Like, why wait till next week? You can actually call now, and because they might have been looking at your availability and wanting to speak with you sooner. So sometimes when you call out of the blue, I've found that you can one, get them very excited that they got to chat with you sooner, and they go ahead and start spilling their guts of what's going on in their situation, and you can help them quicker.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, part 3. Before I go into part 3, actually, because I have people here, and before we spill the beans, I did want to let everyone know, like, we're hosting an in-person event on November 6th in Las Vegas. So if you are in Vegas, or if you happen to be going to Unlock, Zillow, and Follow Boss's conference, this is at the tail end of that. The conference ends on Wednesday. This is on Thursday, November 6th. We'd love to have you there. This will be our third in-person all-day event. It's like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No fluff, no rah-rah type of content. We did our second one in Dallas in the end of August, and each session was deep dives, and people said, we love the deep dives, we want them to be even longer. So our sessions are going to be like 45 minutes to an hour, because these are build sessions. This is not just like, I'm so great, and this is the one thing I did, but I'm not going to show you how I did it. Our speakers are going to be plugging in their computer. They didn't do this last time in Dallas. We got the request for them to do it. They're going to be plugging in their computer and walking you through step by step how they built the thing they did, and you're going to be doing it with them. So bring your laptop, be ready to actually like implement right there. Not, oh, you get ideas and you can implement it on Mondays. Like, no, we're implementing right there. So scan the QR code. We'd love to have you. It's intentionally capped at a certain number of seats because it's interactive with the speaker, and the speaker can talk to you. So it's going to be really fun.
I love it.
I wanted to do that before we gave the part 3 away. What is part 3 of the Flywheel, Austin?
Yeah, it is delighting your database. So you got to think about this. Your database, you already have leads in there. You have your past clients in there, your sphere in there. If you're a team lead trying to recruit agents, you might have agents in there. Like, there's databases full of everybody that has engaged with you and provided their information. Every contact you have. That is the gold mine. That is where your deals are going to be made, is all within those people. So sometimes it becomes stressful at times for an agent. Maybe things slow down in your pipeline, and you're like, where am I going to get my next deal? It is in that database 100%. And you got to work it. You have to work the database to make, I think Tom Ferry has said, like, if you shake the apple tree long enough, an apple will eventually fall, right? But if you're not shaking the apple tree, nothing's going to happen. So the flywheel, the last part is delighting your database. So what we do is we try to actually take that entire database. It is the only audience in this last campaign. And basically, you already have the lead. The goal is to keep them engaged. You have the text, the emails going out through a company like Kee Technology. Now we need to retarget that database, and we like to do it with education. So instead of it being like a list of homes or things of that nature, we don't need their info anymore because we already have it. We just want to keep them clicking, keep them reading, and keep providing value to them. So kind of view this as your social media advertising email newsletter, in a sense. Everybody that clicks in this campaign is a re-engaged lead from your database, because the audience that it's going to in the Facebook and Instagram ad platform is your database. So this goes to your past clients, your sphere, your leads that have never spoke with you yet, that you haven't been able to get in touch with. and we'll kind of go through it next, but most recently engaged leads are more likely to convert into appointments. So when Elena showed us that smart list of, actually, can you go back to that slide? I think it was recent online engagement that you did, and you might actually have this in the future slide. But right here, recent online activity is selected here. Because the Follow Up Boss pixel is installed on your website and you're putting these blogs on your website of educational content, when people click those ads, they're going to your website that has the Follow Up Boss tracking pixel, so that activity can be seen in the lead's profile. And every single person in this campaign is in your Follow Up Boss profile because it's the database that's getting these ads. So every single click is a re-engaged lead. We've seen these as cheap as 10 cents. We've seen them as expensive as $1.10. So $1.10 to get people in your database drummed up, or even 10 cents. I mean, that's incredible. So you can take this smart list, and if you wanted, and you're calling out a follow-up boss, which you should be doing when you do your dials, you can actually narrow this, like almost make a hybrid of this list. Recently active leads that we haven't called in the last 7 days. That list should always be 0, because you should be calling that list of recently active people every single day. And if somebody new pops up in, call them. And if they're 7 days out and they're still active, then they'll come back in, so you can call them again. So it's a great way to kind of have this discipline of calling that delight audience in your CRM, is just taking that smart list right there, add one more filter, calls made was more than 7 days ago.
Yeah. I was trying to find a live example, but what's really cool about Follow Boss and the update that they did recently to, let me go into Blur and I'll just show you. I'm in my CRM, so this is a terrible CRM to show. I was not planning on talking about this, but it came top of mind whenever you mentioned this. In Follow Boss, on this activity section, they did a recent update I didn't even know about until I noticed it randomly yesterday on a call. This activity section, it doesn't show on mine, so it's a very bad example, but now Follow Boss separates it out into two different sections, where it shows website activity in one section and then like property views in the other, so that you're able to see with the website you have integrated exactly what pages the person viewed, rather than just like a catch-all activity section. So I thought that was like a nice little, not so little update Follow Boss quietly did.
Yeah, and even like, actually, Lena, share that one more time.
Oh, sure.
Because something super small that even I've done in my follow-up, like we follow this exact process. So when somebody re-engages with a blog, there's two different kind of lists we follow up with: new leads and recently active leads that we haven't called in 7 days. Pretty simple. You follow up with those lists, apples are going to fall from the tree. So if you hover over like on the website activity, you can see the exact time that people did it to. A lot of people just maybe don't look at it that way because they aren't using the CRM to that capacity. But like, here's an inquiry that acquired in 11/24. So when you're calling those recently active leads in the last 7 days, I usually narrow that by like actually most recently active. So that way I work the list top to bottom. So it's the most recent activity because they're more likely to answer. But a lot of people just may not even know that that's there to show you the timestamp of the activity.
Yeah, we do that too in our CRM. I think we actually, I was sorting my pages views to try to find one, but it's normally sorted by last visit. And you can see here, like we have some people, they're past clients, but last visit was like 5 hours ago and 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago. So you can see exactly when someone visited just from the people screen. And as you can see, it's really small. It disappeared when I moved. It's really small when I hovered over the 5 hours ago, but if you hover over long enough, it tells you the exact timestamp. So 10:55 and 7 seconds a.m. today.
That's amazing.
I also wanted to point out, I shouldn't have just stopped share. I should just switch what I'm sharing. When we were going over these suggestions, something that I'm continually reminding myself is like, you can repurpose this content. So even though you've created this content for ads, anytime we create a new piece of content, like I'm about to release like a real estate technology guide, because there's just a lot you can choose from and it's hard to pick based on your goals and your business structure, your business model, the problems you're trying to solve. So I just finished writing up the final draft of it, and it's going to be like 20 different purposes. Like it's going to be an ad, it's going to be a remarketing ad and a lead gen ad for people. So the remarketing ad won't require registration Or am I don't know. I can't decide. And then do you require registration for these?
No. So this is just because it's going to the database already. We don't, because
Yeah.
we don't need them to fill out their info again. We just need them
Yeah.
to click and engage.
Yeah. So we would run it as a new lead ad for part one of the flywheel. We would run it for part three without registration required. But then also for our newsletter, we send it without registration. And then once the newsletter is sent, like this type of content you've shown here, and what we're creating is what I call Evergreen, where it's like useful all the time. So once I finish the newsletter, I add it to our drip campaign. Like I just set myself a task. Once I've gone through all my segments, it usually takes about a week or two to send it out. Then it's like, okay, I've sent it to everybody. Now I'm going to add it to my drip campaign for people moving forward. I don't want it to just like a one-time use piece. I want it to be used. And then I use it on social media, like my organic social media. I post about it on our Instagram and on my profile and on the page. And even like if you're part of like community groups where you're not requiring registration, it's helpful too. You might get booted out if you require registration. But this one piece of content has like 20 different things you can do with it. So that's what I love about this type of stuff.
It is, yeah. Like you could take right there, like we add that blog to a client's website and then we add this to the database retargeting campaign. They could take that and go email it to their database. They could actually take the copy from the blog itself, go into ChatGPT and say, convert this into a talking heads short form video script. And now you have a script. So you could set up your iPhone and record a short form video around that topic. Like you're right. Any piece of content, repurposing it in so many different ways is just so beneficial to not have to think so much, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. And I recycle content too. Like I might post about this on social media today, and then things that performed well, 6 months, a year later, I post about it again. Oh yeah, there you go. Yes, you mentioned
There it is.
I just showed the exact same screenshot that these activities show up in Follow Boss too.
Love it.
And then as far as like what to do with people who have not shown up recently, but they did come in through your attract phase, or they were active just not recently in the past, I think it's like 7 or 14 days, you still want to utilize and create other lists. We use fun emojis just to help urge people to want to call these lists to set the appointments and put them on the appropriate automation based on your conversation and the stage you put them in. All right. So a couple of resources for you. If the CRM side is overwhelming to you and you need help, we can help. We partner with Dippity as well. We just update our SOPs to accommodate Dippity clients to create those advanced lead flows based on the different ads they're running. So we have a very good synergy with both of our services, and you can scan that QR code to learn more. And then Austin, go ahead with a little bit about you.
Yeah, I mean, everything you've seen here today, one, I hope you try to implement it yourself. It is beneficial, but in the event that you need help further, want this set up for you, managed for you, we do both actually done for you ads and funnels, so we can build you a flywheel. But actually a fairly like new service we do is private one-on-one marketing coaching and training. So basically everything from SEO to video editing to graphic design, Facebook ads, funnel build outs, we will actually jump on calls with you. And it's not high level at all. I think I like what you said about the conference that you got coming up, the event. It's no fluff. It is like showing you how. We are shooting in the gym, playing basketball together. This is basketball training. Your coach is in there showing you how to do a layup. It's not telling you what to do. So we're going to be building it together on those. We've gotten a lot of clients jumping on that recently, and because you ultimately want to become self-sufficient in your marketing, or maybe your marketing admin may need you have an on-staff marketing director that could do it too. So we offer now both training as well as done for you. Whichever route is beneficial for you, we just want to be a resource. So you could just go to dippity.com to schedule a strategy call, and we can kind of learn more about your business, see what we can do to potentially either set up the flywheel for you or marry the two together and get Dippity with Kee Technologies. I think is honestly the best peanut butter jelly combo you can get.
And then Alan was asking, will there be a recording? Yes, we'll post it on our YouTube channel, and we will email everyone who registered the recording once it comes available. It's not immediate. Give us a couple days, maybe Monday, for our editing team to make sure all looks good. But yes, it'll be recorded. Thank you, Austin, for joining today. And thank you, everyone who was able to join live. Feel free to reach out to either of us if you need help. I certainly wouldn't want to DIY this. Like, sure, you can, but you're just not going to get the results you're looking for. Highly recommend connecting with Austin and the team at Dippity.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much, Elena. It's super awesome to be a part of this with Real Estate Collective. So thanks again for having us.